Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie Dreyer, a plant-based meal planning expert and the founder of stephaniedreyer.com, where I help busy parents bring more ease to their meal prep and meal planning. And I'm not sure what's going on with my internet right now, if you can see me right now. I'm going to keep going and hoping that this is just buffering or something like that. I have been on a journey for the last 10 years to simplify my meal planning process because I am a mama of three. We are a mixed bunch of folks. I'm vegan, my oldest is vegetarian, and then the other three of us are omnivores. And over the years, my son's been gluten-free for a year, so we've dabbled in that. And I just have a lot of experience working with varying diets and picky eaters and all that good stuff that we have to deal with as busy moms and dads. So I'm here to bring you more ease to all that meal planning chaos and dinner time. And today I want to talk to you about how to cook from your pantry, fridge, and freezer. This is one of my favorite things to do, although I've been trying to utilize that more and more because it saves so much money and it reduces the amount of, I don't want to say clutter because it's not like food's clutter, but it reduces the amount of stuff you have laying around, whether it's your pantry, whether it's your fridge, whether it's your freezer. It uses up what you've got, which is always a good thing, right? It's going to save you time when it comes to the grocery store. It's going to save you money at the grocery store, and it's going to help simplify your meal prep because it's going to reduce what you have. Whenever you simplify, you're reducing the amount of options that you have to come up with, right? When you look at your pantry, fridge, and freezer and you have just a few things to work with, it does simplify and help you come up with meal ideas. I have found personally, anyways, in my opinion. So what I want to do is share with you, I'm going to go into some meal ideas using the different things, but, and I'm hoping you guys can see me. It looks like I'm live, but it's like I'm getting this weird circle, so I'm not sure if you guys are seeing me. So I'm just going to keep talking. Hope you're seeing me. So the first thing you're going to do, like I said, I'm going to talk about some meal ideas for using some popular items that might be hanging around in your pantry, fridge, or freezer. But first I want to talk a little bit about some things that you can do, like a strategy to put this into place, because it sounds really easy, but it always helps for me to have like a couple of steps. So the idea with all of this is to look at when you do your weekly meal planning. So I do my meal planning on Thursdays, excuse me, and then I shop on Fridays, and then I do my prep, like my big batch cooking and prep on Sundays. So what I do is on Thursdays, before I sit down to meal prep, one of the things that I do is I do like a little inventory, and you can make this as elaborate or as simple as you want. It could be just going through your fridge, pantry, and freezer and making some mental notes. It could be jotting down on your weekly meal plan some ingredients that you have that you know you want to use up. Again, I have a checklist that I'm going to put in the comments at the end of this Facebook Live. This is a pantry checklist, and you can use it to check off. You can use it to check off what you have. You can use it to check off what you need. You can use it to check off what you want to use up. You could use it in all three of those ways to help you with your meal planning. And this is free in my batch cooking starter guide. So you can download this free, plus you'll get all this other wonderful goodies about batch cooking in this guide. But this checklist is really helpful, and you can use it in one of those three ways to help inspire you about what to cook for the week. So once you've done that, and again, it doesn't have to take you very long. It could take you 5 minutes, or you could go really elaborate and it could take you a lot more time. Let's see here. I'm going to just check in the internet here. It looks like we're still going. And then, okay, so then once you make up once you do your little inventory, what I want you to do is make a list of those ingredients and do we talked in my last video last week about how you get your recipe library together. So depending on how you organize yourself, the easiest thing to do is to look at Pinterest or Google and do a search for those ingredients that you've got laying around. So if you've got beans, say you've got quinoa, black beans, and I don't know, corn, canned corn. You can Google, put those ingredients in a Google search and say, you know, black beans, quinoa, and corn recipes, and see what comes up. And then you've got probably a trillion recipes to choose from that use up those ingredients, and then you can build those into your meal plan. Again, doesn't take very long. It's a great way to use up what you've got. Another thing to do is to pick up one of your cookbooks and look in the index and look up. Most cookbooks have ingredient index, and you can search by ingredient and see what comes up there too. The idea, again, is to let those ingredients inspire you for your meal plan. So it takes some of the thinking out of it. You're like, all right, what am I going to cook this week? Well, let's see what I've got laying around that I got to use up. Okay, so now I want to talk a little bit about what some common things that you might have laying around in your pantry, fridge, and freezer, and some idea starters to get you going. So from your pantry, grains, they make a great base for bowls. I'm vegan, like I said, and plant-based Buddha bowls, I call them, are something I eat almost every day for lunch, and they're super easy because I just take some kind of grain, some type of green, and whatever veggies and protein I have, and some kind of dressing or sauce. Super simple. And grains are a great base for that. So you might consider that quinoa, millet, brown rice, jasmine rice. Can go on and on. Soba noodles, you can make all sorts of bowls with those types. I guess soba noodles is a pasta, not a grain, but okay, beans, whether you've got dried beans or canned beans, those make great fillers for soups, stews, skillets, and salads. So again, if you have beans and you want to make a salad, you can Google that, say red kidney beans salad recipe, and see what comes up. Another great idea. Pasta. If you've got a pasta, you don't just have to make spaghetti and meatballs or bean balls. You can make bakes. There's so many great casserole bakes with pasta. Excuse me. Sauces. If you've got leftover marinades and sauces laying around, sauces are great, obviously, on different pasta dishes, but they're also great in stir fries and marinades. So you might consider using that sauce to marinate vegetables or your proteins, and then grilling them, doing sheet pan dinners with them. I did a great video a couple weeks ago on sheet pan dinners. You can check that out, and I have a free downloadable with that in that video as well. So sauces, it doesn't just have to be the obvious. You can get creative with that. I encourage you to explore with marinades, using them as marinades. Nuts and seeds. I always have so many nuts and seeds laying around, and unless you keep them in the refrigerator, those can go bad fast. So make up dips, make sauces. You can make great cashew sauces, great nut-based dips. You can do like a hemp seed with pine nuts. You can do pestos. You can do all sorts of yummy sauces with them, and then store them in the week to drizzle on your bowls, drizzle on your salads, or on pasta or anything else that you're making. So and nuts are also great with like energy balls. If you ground up dates and nuts, and dates are a natural sweetener, so you don't even really need much, but you can ground that up with the nuts and the dates, and then stir in, like, I don't know, mini chocolate chips or sunflower seeds, things like that. That's a really easy way to use up your nuts as well. So for the freezer, I feel like I'm constantly emptying my freezer because I tend to make big quantities of food, and instead of wasting it, my family is like, I can't eat this anymore, I freeze it. I will have it and freeze half, keep the other half to eat during the week. And what's great is I go kind of shopping in my freezer every week to see what I have and see how I might work it into my meal plan. It's a built-in cook-free night or lunch. For example, this week I have some chili that I made like probably a month ago, and I'm gonna defrost that tonight and use that for lunch probably 2 or 3 times this week, and I don't have to think about lunch. So go shopping in your freezer if you do that sort of thing. It's don't forget about those leftovers that you freeze, because I tend to do that, and I've been really a lot better about building them into my meal plan, just because I'm so pressed for time these days that I'm like, okay, how can I help myself out this week? Let's go shopping in the freezer. Okay, the other thing is veggies. Frozen veggies are great for soups. Easy for soups or stir fries. So if you've got veggies, get get creative with how you can use those up. Burgers. If you batch cook burgers and freeze some of them, that's like a built-in easy meal. My family did burgers last night, and it's like was the easiest. We defrosted them, made some fries, made some fun toppings and sauces, and that was it. And that was even going a little fancy. You don't even have to do all that. You can just heat up the burger and the bun. The other thing is burger salads. If you haven't tried this is a really fun way to use up a burger during the week for a great easy lunch. You can take that burger and wrap it in a tortilla. You can make a wrap. You can wrap it in romaine lettuce and make a lettuce wrap, or a collard green, make a lettuce wrap. Lots of fun ways to use up your frozen burgers. Phyllo Dough. I seem to always have this in my freezer too. And instead of just letting it sit there, hand pies. Hand pies are so great. And you can use those frozen veggies we were just talking about. You could crumble up veggie burgers as fillings inside. So those are a fun way to use up. Kids love hand pies. They're so easy. I would have a few. I was talking about the hamburger buns and hamburgers, but I want to kind of share a couple stories of things, of the way cooking for my pantry inspires my meals. So for example, I was looking in my pantry and I saw I had falafel and I had pita, because whenever we order out at Mediterranean, they give us so much pita. So I always end up freezing it. So that inspired, I'm like, oh, falafel, pita. Let me do a Greek night this week and use some of this up. Now, not everyone in my family likes falafel, so I'll have some other fillings, but I was like, all right, I'm going to get some grape leaves at Trader Joe's, some olives, get some cucumber, I'll make a Greek salad, and we'll do a little pita bar. So that inspired, just looking at those ingredients inspired that idea. Another thing I had was I had a ton of hamburger buns and veggie meatballs. I love my Gardein meatballs, and I had a bunch in stock. And I thought, how can I use this up without just doing spaghetti and meatballs? Because I feel like I make that some form of spaghetti and meatballs or pasta and meatballs for my family, because my kids love that. So I came up with meatball subs, and it was a huge hit. Another time I used it to do sloppy joes and crumbled up the meatballs. And the kids love that. So it's just to getting creative, to let it inspire you, like, how can I reuse these ingredients in a different way? And then last, the fridge. So produce is like, I'm crazy for produce, right? I'm vegan. I eat tons of produce every week. And so I tend to get produce happy when I'm going to the store. I'm like, ooh, this looks good, this looks good. And then by the end of the week, I can be like, oh my gosh, I haven't used this yet. So what I'll do is I will two things. One is I do a sheet pan veggie roast. I will take whatever leftover veggies that are looking kind of bad or about to go bad, like broccoli tends to always make it like, ooh, I'm just on the cusp of using this. I roast that. I had like butternut squash. I had beets. I had beets left over from Passover because I only needed one to roast for my Seder plate. I roasted all of that together last week on a sheet pan, and then I ate that all week in my Buddha bowls for lunch. So that's one idea, is just to roast it and then use it in bowls and salads, which is the next thing. Kitchen sink salads, such an easy way to use up what you have. You can use leftover beans you have, and canned beans you have in your pantry, leftover grains in your pantry, and then any produce you have to make a kitchen sink salad. If you've got nuts, make a salad dressing, a creamy salad dressing with that. Let's see, what else? Snack boards. This is one of my favorite things to do for a meal, is to make a big snack board with veggies, hummus. If my kids have, what do we have? I'm trying to think. What else do we have? Nuts. I will put vegan cheese on there. I will put, what else do I put on there? Nuts, veggies, dips, anything in my pantry that's like a half bag open. So if I have like a few crackers left over or a few pretzels, it's just like a mishmash of everything. And it actually works on a snack board when you have a mishmash of everything. I set it out, and that can be dinner for most of us. That's like, for my family, that is dinner sometimes, and we love it. And it's casual, usually on a night when there's a lot going on, people are coming in and out, or I just don't feel like cooking and just want to set that out and have a casual dinner, and we're talking and laughing, and super simple and easy. So those are my tips for creating stuff out of your fridge, freezer, and pantry. Again, use this checklist however you want, whether to take inventory of your pantry, to check off what you need to get or to check off what you want to use up that week. You can print it out and use it over and over again in many different ways, laminate it, whatever you want to do. Again, comes free with my batch cooking starter guide that I'm going to put in the notes for you in the comments below. And I would love to hear, I hope you guys are able to see this. I'm still getting the circle on my screen, so I'm not sure what's happening. I'm hoping that you saw this. And if you are seeing this, shoot me a comment below if this was helpful. I'd love to hear if there are other ideas that you have that are meal solutions that you need help with. I have got another Facebook Live. Oh, actually, not next week because it's Mother's Day and I'm taking the day off. But the following week, let's see here on my notes, what do I have? The following week, we're on May 19th at 9 a.m. again. We're going to talk about how to create a family favorites list. And if you don't know what that is, definitely check in with me. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's a resource I use weekly when doing my meal planning, and I'm going to talk to you about how to make one and why you need it. So join me next week. In the meantime, please feel free to share this with someone you think might need it or it might help, and shoot me a line either here on Facebook, or you can connect with me on my website at stephaniedryer.com or on Instagram at Vegamama with any ideas or solutions or anything you need help with. I would love to chat with you. Thank you.